All right, welcome back to Makes Remote Work. Today I'm joined by Krish Jagirdar, co-founder and president of Internet Game, a company using games to fix one of remote work's hardest problems, real human connection. We'll dig into how Internet Game operates as a remote company and what they've learned watching teams play together. Let's jump in. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Makes Remote Work. Today's episode features Krish Jagirdar, the co-founder and president of Internet Game. Thanks for joining us here today, Krish.
Happy to be here, John.
Let's start with Internet Game in general, the company. What's the exact problem you saw that, kind of motivated you to say, hey, this needs to be a product? Where was your mindset when you were starting that?
Yeah, for sure. So, for us, Internet Game really came out of the idea of wanting to bring people together and wanting to make the world more fun, to like create just basically different ways for people to connect in fun and interactive ways. And so, for us, I think one of the things that we saw was that obviously there's just like kind of this big diversion when it comes to things like gaming, where you have people that are playing like the Fortnites, the Call of Duties, the Counter Strikes, et cetera. But then there's a lot of people who do really like the kind of more casual, quick games. And, I think that we started to see that there was a lot of effort going into these AAA style games, but like not that much really happening for people that just kind of want to play these kind of quick games with their friends, etc. And that's really what led to the birth of Internet Game. So, Internet Game, for those people who don't know, is a browser based party game platform that allows really any group of friends, whether that's 440, 400, to get together and play through a series of mini games. And it's a ton of fun, and there's a ton of variety as well.
Yeah, and for people listening to this who may not know, Internet Game powers the game room in Rome. So obviously we're big fans of it. It's wildly popular, particularly on Fridays, which is when we're recording this episode. And if I pull up the stats here on my other monitor, I can see that already today over 400 players have entered a
Yeah.
game of some sort, using the game room. So that's pretty cool.
For us, I think is this idea is that we as humans, we just naturally organize into these groups. But when it comes to the ability for us to very quickly play together, which is frankly one of the most human things that we do, there weren't really strong ways or like really easy ways for people to do that. And so, that's what I think really Internet Game solves for, which is this idea of community. So when you do think about like a Rome kind of room, or when a Rome kind of space for a particular organization, like what is the difference between, a company of people that are trying to achieve a mission? It's effectively just a community of people that are looking to do that. And I think that what Internet Game inside of Rome has shown is that, especially on Fridays, like these are all people that you talk to every day that you like, but you might not be together. And here's just like a fun, simple way to play games together.
Switching over to like the build of your company as
Mhm.
a whole, what does the culture look like inside your team? Are you all generally remote? Are you guys playing
Yeah.
games? Are you guys playing the games?
Yeah, we play every Friday inside of Rome. So we definitely contribute to those metrics. We basically started our journey, our kind of company journey in 2021,
Mhm.
right? And so obviously remote work and working from home is still very much kind of very, very central to a lot of organizations, especially at this particular time. And so, while we were starting this company, my co-founder Jordan and I, we were both remote. Jordan was actually in Miami when we had started this org, and I was living in New York City. Our one of our first couple hires were in Austin. We're really all around the country, and then we have the spattering of a couple people, one dude in Costa Rica, someone in Austria, etc. And so I think that for us, even the whole idea of Internet Game and building it really did come out of solving one of our own problems, which is that we do have this very distributed team, and there really is this lack of I mean, like kind of fun within the organization. Like there wasn't really much for us to do because we're not going out to dinners and all that kind of stuff pretty
Right, right.
regularly. So the question was like, how can we solve for that? And I think that was really where the idea around kind of like fun, simple party games for companies really came from.
Now, in terms of like remote work in general, would you say that you're afforded anything in terms of like how you run the company that like you maybe wouldn't be if you were in office? Like if all of a sudden you were just like, hey, we got to all be in New York City tomorrow. Are there any things there that like you would have to kind of work around?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good and good question that I'm just going to try and answer instinctively. And I think
Yeah,
that one of the interesting things about organizations that make remote work, I guess to use your phrasing,
there you
is
go.
that I think that there has to be like a level of congruence that comes with the rest of the work culture because you have a remote organization. And I think what I mean by that is that if we're all in office, it becomes very performative in the sense that like you show up at 9 and
Yeah.
like you leave at 6. And even if you're done working at like 5:15, you're still sitting there for 45 minutes so that you don't look bad. And I can remember being that guy. And, again, I've worked in plenty of places in person or IRL over the course of my career. And I remember being done at work at 5:15 and just waiting for it to become 6:03 so I could leave. And I think that the thing about Rome and kind of working remote is that our culture is really about like kind of ownership and responsibility, which is like work when you want to work, but get your work done.
Hmm.
And I think as long as you entrust people and empower people to have the autonomy over their time, they're actually happy to work whenever they do. In fact, like just thinking about it, I have one engineer that's just like he's like a night owl guy, right? Like so like his best work is between 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. And then he's logging in at 11, right? And like
Yeah.
who am I to say anything about
And like if you're going into an office, like I don't know if I'd be encouraging my employees to go into the office at 2 a.m. You know what I mean? But in Rome, you could be in the office, right?
that? Exactly,
Um,
yeah.
so I got one last one here. It's more of a speed round. I just, yes or no, one answer questions.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
see how it goes here. On your team, what matters more to you? Would you say consistency or creativity?
I would say consistency.
What's your favorite game that you produce?
Astro Ball. If you haven't played Astro Ball, an internet game, you need to play Astro Ball. And if you guys get good, this is to everyone. If you get good at Astro Ball and you are a Roam customer, which if you aren't, you should be, challenge us. We
That's
welcome
awesome.
any challenges from any other companies.
This one's the opposite. It's what's your least favorite game? And keep in mind, least favorite doesn't mean you don't like it. It's just the one that maybe doesn't resonate the most with you.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about game development is that like there's so many games that you're like, this is cool in theory, and then you build it and you're like, this just didn't hit. So I
Mhm.
think that we we have this one game that I mean we didn't spend that much time on it. We spent a decent amount of time on it, but it's called Bumper Pucks. Is meant to be like a team based game so that you're working, it's 3 on 3 or 4 on 4 or something like that. But the entire thing is just so frenetic that like it's just people
I think
just
I know what game you're talking about because on the service I clicked onto it. I was like, "Oh, I think I know
yeah,
what this is." Yeah,
yeah.
I definitely know what
For
you're talking
whatever
about there. All
reason.
right, we'll
Yeah,
go with bumper pucks.
Bumper Pucks,
And then
yeah.
last but not least, is there a game that we don't know about yet that that is being worked on that you're really excited?
We focus heavily on like kind of replayability. So, Battle Cards is incredibly popular. Astro Ball is incredibly popular. But, another game that's also pretty popular is one called Hyperbet, which is more of a card based game. There's like more of a learning curve to it, but once you do
Mhm.
learn it, very fun. So I think that we're starting to explore more games like that.
Cool. For the record, my favorite is Doodle Up. I like
Doodle
Doodle Up.
up.
We play
Okay.
that
Yeah.
with the team all the time. It's basically Pictionary for those of you who don't know
Yeah.
it.
It's a cool version. Yeah.
Well, in the spirit of short meetings, we can call it there. Krish, thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun. It's great to, get to know about you and the company. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, I mean, again, I just want to, I guess, really quickly say that Rome very much changed our entire company dynamic and culture. It really does create that presence that I think a lot of remote companies miss if they do not have Rome. So I highly recommend it to really any other founder or operator that I do talk to. And I'm very, very proud to be a Rome customer and partner. So thank you again for having me.
Yeah, well, couldn't have said better myself. Thank you so much for the kind words. For everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you want to hear more conversations just like this with other founders, leaders running their teams in remote work. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Krish, thank you so much.
My
Bye.
pleasure. Bye.